All right, Arsenal 2, Man United 0. Let's get this out of the way, man. I didn't go into this game overly confident, guys. I was saying to my stream before the game, I said, my heart is telling me 1-1. My heart is telling me 1-1. My head is telling me 3-1 Arsenal. So to see us lose 2-0 today, it's not really the biggest surprise to me. Amorim keeps basically talking about, I'm more concerned about the idea and I'm more concerned about building kind of like a setup and building a project so that in a year's time, the results can kind of come in a sustainable way. And I'm right behind him, man. I'm fully behind Amorim's plan, especially after today. Let me say that very clearly. After today, more than anything, I trust Amorim. I do. In the first half in particular, that's a team that is well set up, that's organized, that's defensively strong, that was able to play it out from the back, that was able to keep the ball for longer than 3 minutes. It was a team that was well coached. And after, 3 games? 3 games under Ruben Amorim. We're seeing more in terms of a well set up team than we did in so long under Erik ten Hag. So for that reason, I gotta back Amorim here, man. I'm impressed with the way he set us up. For a team that had injuries and suspensions in big areas, I think he did the best he could, genuinely. That first half, Arsenal didn't really have a sniff in terms of like breaking us down. And when you look at the quality of the two teams, one is clearly better than the other. Arsenal are a side, rightfully challenging for the league for their third season. United are a team under a new manager 3 games in that clearly, and I repeat, clearly need an overhaul. I'm all for giving players chances and, we can't keep buying our way out of problems, but let's be real, guys. Let's be honest with what we're seeing. This team ain't it in terms of most of these players. There's a few gems in this squad, but there's also a lot of mediocrity surrounding it. But I repeat, after 45 minutes, I think United fans had the right to kind of feel happy about that. We were in that game. Arsenal, bar the set piece in the first half from Thomas Partey, didn't really create all that much. They were pressing us, but we were actually playing out of their press pretty well for the most part. Now, the flip side of that is we didn't create shit in the first half. The only chance we get, and I'm looking at it right now, is a ball over the top to Maguire. Maguire heads it down. Dalot puts it wide from like a half volley. It's a half chance. For the most part, United created almost absolutely nothing this game. And he made big changes this game, by the way. 6 changes to the starting 11. In midweek, or at the weekend, against Everton, we saw Rashford, we saw Xerxes, we saw Bruno. This game, he moved Bruno back. He took Rashford and Xerxes off, and he started Hojlund and Garnacho and put Mount there next to them. That front 3 created absolutely nothing. I'm going to speak about individual performances in a little. The second half, all 3 of them basically came off for Xerxes, Rashford, and Antony. All 3 of them did absolutely nothing. So defensive setup, tactical structure, how we played out the back, how we defended our box for the most part, all pretty good. I can't really complain. But that final third, that's where individual quality has to come from the players. And today, if you didn't believe me the million times I've said it this season, is a prime example of why this attack, man, it ain't it. It ain't it. We've invested a lot of money, but the value for money that we're getting from these players is not representing good value at the moment. Adnan says, let's be honest, United sat back 90 minutes and defended for their lives. As soon as we got going, chances came pouring. First half wasn't great because United were great, but more so because Arsenal were poor. I think you're being a little harsh there, but I will say this. After the first half, United fans were very happy after that first half, and I was content. But I was also a little nervous because that first half was United probably playing at their max capacity. That first half that we got from them was probably United playing the best they could at this point with this team under Amorim. That's the best we can kind of do. And that's probably the worst you'll see Arsenal for most of the season. Arsenal were only going to get better in the second half. United, I didn't know if they had another level they could reach. And so when Arsenal in the second half came out on fire within 5 minutes, it wasn't too much of a shock for me because I knew Arteta would look at that half and say, that's not good enough. Let's up the tempo. Let's up the rhythm. And that's exactly what happened. And this team, Arsenal, right? This side, I can't remember many teams in my lifetime who are as crazy good off set pieces as these guys. I can't remember many. Every single set piece that this team takes feels like a huge goal scoring opportunity. Today, Arsenal finished with 12 corners. Almost every single one of them felt like a goal scoring opportunity. It's insane. And today, they're all coming without the biggest goal threat in the league off set pieces, Gabriel Magalhaes. Both goals today come from set pieces. The first one, Rasmus Hojlund. I have to question where the hell he is. Jurrien Timber finds himself free in the box where I believe Rasmus Hojlund is supposed to be marking him. Hojlund is in front of him instead of goal side. Jurrien Timber has a free flick. Far corner, 1-0 Arsenal. The second goal. What's the expression? I was asking my chat. I think I got it right. Is it masters of your own demise? That's what Man United are today. They're masters of their own demise. What the hell is Rashford doing there? This is where in-game maturity and in-game decision-making has to be at its best. And where I look at players like Rashford, who have been in this United team since 18 years old. They're now 25 turning 26, or is it 26 turning 27? The point is, they've been playing long enough to know what to do and what not to do in key moments of a game. Martin Odegaard is stuck in the corner, doing freestyle moves, like trying to maneuver his way out of it. United wins it back, and Rashford is on it now, cornered in the little corner. And I almost felt like Rashford saw Odegaard doing all that, got the ball and said, okay, let me show you what I can do. And now he starts doing some rolls. He tries flicking it up, I'm sure, to try and clear it away. Instead, he flicks it up, loses his balance, and they concede a corner to the most dangerous set-piece team in the league. Any mature player in that situation looks to clear the ball off Odegaard, clam it off his shins, get a throw in, get a goal kick, and resume play. No, what does this guy do? I want the spotlight to be on me. That's a boneheaded decision right there. And yeah, we still need to defend better on the set piece. I get that. But goals come from an accumulation of mistakes. It's very rare that a goal comes from one mistake. It's usually an accumulation of mistakes that leads into a goal. And that goal only happens, it only even starts off the process to that goal by us having the ball and us gifting a corner to the best set piece team in the world right now. That's so frustrating. And it's why I feel for Amorim, man. Because again, I think he set us up as well as he could 4 games into his Man United tenure. That's really the best you can do without Lisandro, without Kobe, without Luke Shaw, and with the attackers at your display. But at the end of the day, you're playing a team like this. Everything has to go perfectly for you. You have to be able to defend off set pieces better. They weren't able to. You have to have better chance creators in the final third. We didn't have that. When the chances fell to us, we have to be more clinical. We weren't. We had 2 chances today, like 2 real chances, I would say. De Ligt off a set piece. Bruno puts the ball in. De Ligt heads it. Raya saves it. Me personally, I think De Ligt could have done a little better there. Raya, I think that was a bit of a camera save. And then the second one at 2-0, Bruno set piece. Antony runs over it. Bruno plays him in. Antony finds himself open and hits the tamest shot you'll ever see. It sums up Antony, to be honest with you. But the word for United today is toothless. Honestly, it's toothless in attack. And Amorim's going to have to be ruthless in the transfer window. I'm happy that he's using the 6 months of the rest of the season to kind of analyze the squad and see who's good enough for next season, see who can kind of survive in the squad. But I repeat, the reality is a lot of these attackers aren't cutting it, man. Antony, I would let Antony go. I would actually actively look to get Antony off his contract. Because, boy, you're not getting any kind of reasonable fee for him. I would look to get Antony off his contract. Hojlund and Xerxes, look, you can tell me all the goals and chances they have against Everton and against Bodo Glimt. But today, both of them looked like amateurs against Saliba and Kivior. Hojlund today was effectively chasing his shadow for most of that game. Xerxes, I don't want to let Rashford off the hook either, by the way, huh? Oh, man. That attack frustrates the life out of me. Garnacho, oh my God, man. It's just as a collective, I can speak about all of them individually and how mediocre they are for the level that we're trying to get to, but I'd rather just speak about them as a collective. As a collective, it's a group of players that just simply are not good enough for this level. In terms of the level United want to get to. It's not good enough. It's not. They didn't challenge Arsenal nearly well enough today. As for Arsenal, again, first half was one of Arsenal's more poor performances of the season. I just don't think they got clicking. And I think United probably shocked them in the first half. Because I don't think Arsenal expected United to play out from the back and retain the ball as well as they did. I want to give a big shout out to Malacia, who was playing left wing back or left mid today. I thought Malacia, although he looked really poor against Bodo Glimt, today was a nice redemption game for him. I thought in the first half, he was exceptional. I thought Malacia and Mazraoui did a really great job of nullifying Saka. And I always say it with this Arsenal team, if you can nullify Saka, that's half the battle right there. Because they're going to kill you in 2 ways. And I get proven right with this every time. They'll kill you in 2 ways. Saka's going to cook up a moment of magic, or they're going to beat you off set pieces. Today, we had Saka pretty quiet for the game. The other way they can kill you, set pieces, we couldn't cope. But Malacia did a really good job of defending against Bukayo Saka. And for the most part, Arsenal, I think they pressed United really hard. When you have Kai Havertz, when you have Odegaard, when you have Saka, Martinelli, they're going to press. But United did a good job of getting out of that press. However, Arsenal, like I said, they were always going to improve in the second half. And the pace and the aggression in which they kind of entered that second half, it's almost like they knew Liverpool dropped points tonight. And they knew tonight is a massive opportunity to put pressure in the title race. And they've done exactly that. Once that first goal goes in off a set piece, it looked like Arsenal could score over and over and over and over again. It looked like they could. All off set pieces, by the way. It's crazy. Leny Yoro today came on for his debut, his official debut. I thought Leny Yoro looked really good today. Bar one moment where maybe Trossard had him kind of skating, but Yoro looked really impressive today. I thought, look, United for me, two-thirds of the team looked very good. Defensively, we're strong. Midfield, Ugarte and Bruno, I think they did okay. Ugarte for me was a little better than Bruno. Ugarte, when he keeps it simple, is a very useful player to have. He's going to break up play. He's going to play it short. He's going to get play going. Bruno, he played a more mature game today, but I didn't think he blew me away per se. And then the attack, like I said, the less said, the better. Onana, exceptional today. Exceptional. Maybe saved United in that second half from things getting really, really ugly. But Arsenal, I thought Declan Rice played a really good game today, even past the set pieces. Jurrien Timber, along with his goal, played a really, really strong game. Arsenal were just a really good team today. They were just good. I wouldn't say like they had any like standout player per se, but they were just the better team. And they punished United in the key moments when you had to. Football is really about the decisive moments, right? It's really about the decisive moments and making sure you're clinical in those moments. And Arsenal picked their moments well, and they were decisive in those moments. Arsenal had more shots from corners today with 7 than from open play 6 against Manchester United. And in fact, United conceded 2 goals from corners in a Premier League match for the first time since January 2014 versus Chelsea. January 2014. We conceded 2 goals from corners in a Premier League game in 2014, January. Oh, Samuel Eto'o. I remember. Samuel Eto'o. 3-1. This damn Nico Jover, by the way, huh? At one point, they were focused on Nico Jover on my stream for about 30 seconds. And I'm thinking to myself, get this guy off the damn screen, man. Get this guy off the damn screen. Why is Nico Jover just the focus of the game I'm trying to watch? But fair play to him, man. He might be Arsenal's most important player. He might be Arsenal's MVP. Because this team off set pieces, guys, I'm talking elite teams, right? Because I've seen Stoke City off set pieces in the past. They're a problem. I've seen Blackburn Rovers in the past, with Christopher Samba, Rocky Santa Cruz. They're a problem too. Bolton with Kevin Davies, Zat Knight, they're a problem. But in terms of the elite teams, the only one I can think that's comparable is like Chelsea when they used to have Drogba and John Terry and Gary Cahill and Branislav Ivanovic and Mikel. Like that team, Matic. But in terms of the elite teams, they're not really killing you off set pieces like that. Not like this Arsenal team. I'm telling you, they'll kill you in 2 ways. Saka or set pieces. And sometimes it's Saka sending in the set piece. I'd love to know Amorim's press conference today. Declan Rice today says, new manager. They've looked really good last couple of games, so we knew it'd be a test. Ferris. Arsenal have scored 22 Premier League goals from corners since the start of last season, more than any other side. 22. Jesus. It's a big result for Arsenal though, huh? Because as we know, Liverpool dropped points today. I was watching that slightly last-minute equalizer from Fabian Schär after it looked like Salah had completely just dragged this team back into the lead. So it's a big result for Arsenal. It's a big result. It brings the deficit down in the league to Arsenal are 7 points behind Liverpool, and so are Chelsea, by the way, huh? Chelsea are sneakily making themselves a candidate in this. Interesting. Obviously, Brighton still to play tomorrow. But yeah, it's a big result for Arsenal. 7 points now. And you look at Arsenal's next few fixtures, and you really see an opportunity to go on a nice run here. Fulham away, Everton at home, Palace away, Ipswich at home, Brentford away, Brighton away, until they play Spurs at home. Those are good fixtures. Those are really, really good fixtures. I think today was really important for Arsenal to kind of take care of business because now you look at the run in ahead. A real big opportunity for them. Good opportunity next game, by the way, to get some revenge on Fulham, who actually didn't lose to Arsenal last season, either home or away. So all they can do is just continue focusing on themselves and keep hoping that Liverpool will drop points here and there. That's kind of where they were last season with City. And as we know, City, towards the second half of the season, they go on crazy runs. Well, let's see if Liverpool can mimic it. If not, Arsenal will just have to focus on business, carry on taking care of their own work, and hopefully they can finish the season within touching distance. But yeah, man, I want to talk about United, honestly, because I don't know. I'm not really upset because like I said, I know where this team is in their process. We talk about Arsenal. They're in like phase 4, phase 5, whatever you want to call it. And United, this is early days under a new manager. So I'm not really that upset about the result. But it's just more frustrating because of the individuals, man. Because I get a lot of people telling me I'm harsh about this team. I do. I get a lot of people saying, like I went on Sky Sports the other day. We were doing our 5 players United should sign. And people are telling me in the comments Typical United fan, they always want to buy themselves out of problems. How about giving the players you have a chance? People think I'm too harsh on our strikers. But I look at these games, man, honestly, and I think to myself, am I going crazy? Am I the only one that can see that this attack just isn't good enough? Like, I feel like I'm getting gaslit when I hear people talk about Rasmus Hojlund, when I hear people talk about Joshua Zirkzee, when I hear people talk about Garnacho, when I hear people talk about Rashford. I feel like I'm getting gaslit. Look at our goal difference for the last 3 years. Look at our woes in front of goal over the last 3 years. It's not good enough. The attackers aren't good enough, chat. I don't know. I always say, too, there's not enough experience, right? They're young. I hear that as well, too. But, guys, they're 23. Joshua Zirkzee is 23. Joshua Zirkzee is not 18. Hojlund is what age? 21. Hojlund's 21, turning 22. And I get it, right? I don't want to compare them to Rooney and Ronaldo because those are world-class players. But A, that's the standard of football club that we want to get back to, where we have that caliber of player. And B, I was watching Rooney and Ronaldo at 20, 21, 22, 23 years old, leading this team to major honors, performing at a world-class level. And I get that. Asking Hojlund and Zirkzee and Garnacho to be that level is just unrealistic. But as a fan, isn't that the caliber of player I should be expecting my team to either A, produce or B, sign? You have a ceiling when these are your attackers. Amorim can do as good a job tactically as he wants. But if at the end of the day, the forwards that we have are the ones that are expected to kind of put away the good play that we create, bro, we're capped. We're capped. And that's okay. But then don't tell me that I'm being too harsh about these players. Saka is their age mate. Fact. Cole Palmer is their age mate. Fact. Today, for me, United have lost A, because they didn't defend their box well enough on set pieces. That's one thing. But B, they've also lost because going forward, it's a very, very average front line. Very, very average. I think if I were Man United and I were Amorim, I would be committing a lot of my budget towards that attack. I would be looking to bring in 3 attackers this window. I'm not saying they'll have to be strikers, but these number 10 positions in that center forward position, I'd be looking to bring in 3 players minimum. And I'm talking like very good players. And I understand it's going to be tough. United probably won't finish in the Champions League spots this season. It's going to be difficult, but that's what you need to get back to that level. Look at the kind of players that Klopp signed at Liverpool. Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah, even Xherdan Shaqiri as a bench player. Like, Mane and Salah, they were the 2 guys that basically summed up the Klopp era, at least from an attacking point of view. And they weren't like players that no one knew about, but they also weren't like superstar level players, but they had that superstar potential. That's what United has to be looking for in the window. Nah, it's going to be in the summer. Realistically, United are not signing anybody in January. Any other talking points from this game, chat, that we can really think of? Leny Yoro. Yeah, Leny Yoro, like I said, I was impressed by his cameo. Yoro, the first thing you notice about Yoro is this ability that he has to outstretch his legs when he's slide tackling so far. Like, he's got crazy reach on his slide tackles. And that's a real tool. Looked very good on the ball, playing out from the back, inverting at times. I was impressed with Yoro's performance. Ahmad came on. Me personally, I thought Ahmad should have started. There was a lot of talk about Amorim's starting 11 before the game. And personally, I wasn't really that bothered by too much of it. Personally, I didn't like Malacia was starting, but Malacia had a great game. So there shows how much I know. And I would have started Ahmad. I wouldn't have started Garnacho today. But for the most part, I was seeing people say, oh, why isn't Rashford starting? You saw when Rashford came on, but Rashford should no longer have this aura about him that he has to be starting every single game, man. You don't know what version of Rashford you're going to get from game to game. Like, yeah, Mount didn't play that well. Hojlund didn't do that much. Garnacho didn't do that much. But look at the guys who came on for them. They didn't do that much either. The only one for me that I would have played for sure is Ahmad. The rest of them, honestly, it's more of the same. Different player, same quality. Bruno doesn't have the discipline to play in midfield. It's like his skin starts itching when he can't play a killer ball. I thought Bruno was okay today. There were times where he was caught on the ball. There were times where he overran it. But I thought for the most part, he was okay. What's your starting 11 against Forest? Depends who's fit. Yeah, okay, I'd go Onana, Licha, Yoro, Maguire. Even though I thought De Ligt was pretty good today, but I would go those 3. Oh, but then where does Mazraoui play? Maybe I'd go Mazraoui on the left, Dalot on the right, Ugarte and Kobe in the middle, Ahmad in the 10, Bruno in the 10, and in that striker position, God knows, man. Honestly, God knows who you play in that striker position. I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea who you go for at number 9. Because you don't know what you're going to get from any of those 3. Yeah, Malacia, I think, played really well enough that he could potentially play on the left. Were you happy with the team selection today, or do you think it's a really squad issue? I wasn't, like, overwhelmed by the 11 that he chose. I wasn't really that pissed off about the 11. I think Amorim is still trying to figure out his team, honestly. I think Cam said it to me, and I completely agree. I think Amorim is going to set a record in the Premier League this season for most different 11s tried out. He's going to tinker mad times this season. They used to call Ranieri Tinkerman, because he used to change his 11 all the time. That's going to be Amorim this year. Nah, Hojlund, we need to talk about him. No shots today. Sometimes take your shots, at least win some corners or anything. But what's the talk about Hojlund, man? We know what he is. Hojlund is actually a good finisher. Probably his best attribute is his finishing and his running in transition. But, bro, he doesn't create chances for himself well. His movement is poor. He's awful at holding up the ball. I don't really know what much there is to talk about. Yeah, if he gets a chance, he more likely than not finishes it. But it's not a coincidence that chances never almost fall to him. They almost never fall to him. His anticipation of chances for me is poor. But for me, I'm more impressed with how Man United were able to build out from the back, how Man United were able to sustain possession, how we were able to defend comfortably higher up the pitch. That is, for me, more impressive because that is, for me, coaching. And like I said, Amorim, you got my full support. Amorim has my full support. As long as the structure of the team and the identity is there for me to see, player quality is going to piss me off in the short term, but I know. Just keep recruiting, just keep adding quality, just keep bringing in players like Mazraoui, just keep bringing in players like Leny Yoro, just keep bringing in players, integrating players like Kobbie Mainoo, and the team will get better. But as long as the identity is there, I'm happy for now. Honestly, I'm not too fussed about results. I would have loved to get a result against Arsenal. I would have loved to beat them. I sound like Kevin Keegan right now. I would love it if we beat them. But it's not the end of the world. We're very early into this project. As a wise man once said, ride the storm. We're riding the storm with Amorim right now, bro. I'm riding the storm. Amorim said a storm is coming. I'm riding the storm of Amorim right now, man. Until I'm convinced otherwise, I'm riding the storm for him. Man United's next 6 fixtures. Nottingham Forest at home, Victoria Pilsen away, Man City away, Tottenham at home, Bournemouth at home, Wolves away. Jeez, some tough fixtures in there. The biggest problem about this team is easily physicality. We're so bad physically. Yeah, we've had a physicality issue for a long time. And to be fair, Amorim in his first interview said we need to be better athletically. We have to. You look at Arsenal, the way they're able to physically bully you in games. And I remember last year, right? I pointed out physicality being an issue in this team after 3 games, after the Spurs game. I still have the video online. And I'll never forget this. Someone commented, why is it so important to have athletes in football? Because I kept saying athletically we're not good enough. Athletically we're not good enough. And he said, why does it matter if you're not athletically good enough in football? I said, first of all, football is a sport. It's an athletic sport. You have to be athletic. You have to be an athlete to play football at a professional level. But secondly, think about it, right? At the elite level, all of these guys are ballers. Or for the most part, they're all good technically. They're all good footballers. The difference between the good players and the great players and the elite players, there's a lot of differences, right? IQ, technical ability, but a big thing as well, too, that can bridge the gap in quality at times is athleticism. Being a step quicker to a ball than the opposition. That can get you those margins. Being able to win set pieces, being able to jump higher off set pieces, that can win you those margins. Being able to win your 50-50 duel against your opposition because you're better athletically, that can get you those margins. And then across the pitch, from goalkeeper to striker over minute 1 to minute 90, if you are consistently winning your physical duels and consistently out-athleting the other team, bro, more often than not, you're going to have an advantage over the other side. You are. You look at Arsenal versus United today, I don't want to say out-physicaled us. What's the word? They out-athleted us. If that's not even a word, but that's really what they did. They have better athletes across the pitch. Garnacho couldn't get past Jurrien Timber today because Timber's stronger and he's faster. Offset pieces, we couldn't defend Saliba. We couldn't defend Partey. We couldn't defend those guys because they're bigger than us. They're taller than us. They jump higher than us. In midfield, Bruno and Ugarte did a decent enough job, but they got outran at times by Odegaard. They got outran by Declan Rice. Yeah, they outmuscled us, outpowered us. Yeah, that's really what it is. Outpower, that's the word. So that's the answer. Why does it matter that you're athletic in football? Because it's an athletic sport. Yes, being a great technician and being technical and having a great footballing IQ is super important. You have to. Footballing IQ at the end of the day is, if you don't have a footballing IQ, you can't play football. But if everybody on the pitch is good technically and they got a good footballing IQ, what do you think is going to be the difference between both sides? Who's stronger? Who's faster? Who's taller? Who's more aggressive? Who wins their duels more? Today, it's Arsenal. You look at Liverpool, it's quite similar as well too. I didn't see the City, Chelsea, or Liverpool game, so I'm not going to speak on them. Guys, let me say this right now. I know not everybody on my YouTube is watching at this moment, but let me make this very clear. I don't want to talk about games that I haven't seen. For me, it doesn't make any sense. I pride myself on being objective and saying on what I see. So if I didn't see it, it doesn't make sense for me to speak on it. That's really the way I approach everything. Because I'm seeing a lot of people in my comments these days say, why don't you talk about Chelsea? Why don't you talk about Chelsea? Why don't you talk about Chelsea? Chelsea, more often than not, is playing at the same time as Man United. And I'm always going to watch Man United games. And if they're not playing then, they're usually playing at the same time that there's a big game going on. So I can only cover one game at a time. I can only watch one game at a time for the most part. So yeah, that's kind of my logic on that. This weekend, Chelsea plays against Spurs. I will be watching that game. We'll be doing a watch along. I will be speaking on Chelsea. But anyways, yeah, that's me on Arsenal and United. Fair play to Arsenal. Big result for them. Man United, we regroup. And yeah, just got to hope for better results going forward.